Veterans Day is extremely important because we need to remember those who have gone before us, those who have given their lives, those who have done a service for our country that allow us to have the freedoms that we enjoy today. And we need to set aside time that allows us to spend concentrated moments on the fact that we have people that have done that, and it makes us grateful, makes us humble, and makes us realize our need to do.
I think it's important because people who have sacrificed and who left their families and who have left their families today need to be remembered and recognized. They need to know that what they do for us matters to us. That's very important to those that are fighting for our freedom.
Well, as a high school history teacher, I know that in my classroom we talked about not just the wars and the conflicts and the reasons we had wars. We talked about the people that were willing to go stand in harm's way. It was something that we didn't honor veterans right away. It took a while to get a Veterans Day, and we've had different names for our holidays and celebrations for the military. And I just think that Veterans Day is pretty special because you got some folks that are willing to go anywhere and do anything for this country. They're doing the right thing at the right place at the right time.
Veterans Day is important to remember those who have fought for our country. Veterans Day kind of appreciates those who are still here around to thank. It allows you to stop and thank a veteran for sacrificing, the little things in life and those major events to basically allow others to have the opportunity to have those themselves. I once read that Veterans Day is a celebration to honor American veterans for their patriotism, love of country, and willingness to serve and sacrifice for a common.
I think Veterans Day gives us an opportunity not only to honor the veterans, but to hear what they have to say, and specifically more for what this is for, not to hear about the battles and the struggles, but to hear what were they fighting for, why were they there, and what did it mean to them. My name's Dale Abbott. I served in the United States Marine Corps from 1986 to 1997. I was a staff sergeant in the Marine Corps. The job I performed was Marine Security Guard, and a few of the places I served at while I was a Marine is Camp Pendleton, California, Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and Keflavik, Iceland on the United States Navy base.
Hi, my name is Mrs. Black, and I served in the United States Navy from 1989 to 93, and I was stationed in Adak, Alaska, top secret military base involved in cryptologic communications. So basically we were spies and code breakers.
My name is Jack Moore. I was with the United States Army, drafted in 1967, served until 1969. I was with the 1st Cavalry Division in Vietnam in 1968 through 1969. I was an infantry sergeant and a platoon sergeant, and I served there for 12 months, and the coming home date for me was in '69, and I spent another 6 months at Fort Carson, Colorado. I was discharged and came home.
My name is Pat Ryan. I was in the United States Army in the years 1969 and 70. I achieved the rank of sergeant, and the job that I performed when I was overseas was as a combat infantry soldier. Army terms, my MOS was 11 Bravo.
I'm CW2 Christopher Thunder. I'm Army National Guard full-time. CW2 stands for Chief Warrant Officer, 2nd grade. I'm an OH-58 Alpha Charlie Kiowa helicopter pilot for counter-drug and homeland security. I've been stationed in Decatur, Illinois, based out of the flight facility over there.
Well, in my family, with my father being a lieutenant colonel and his father fighting in the First World War, it was just something that was bound to happen in our family. I've spent most of my youth in the summertime traveling from one military base to another. My father, who was a school teacher, was in the Illinois National Guard after the Second World War and after Korea, and each summer the Guard trained somewhere in the country. And so we traveled with him, and I was around military a lot, and I really, truly
I think a loyal, faithful person who is an upstanding citizen, someone that people look up to even in the real world when they're back to civilian life. They tend to be people that you can look up to. I just think a lot of character. I think they need to have a lot of character.
The veteran,
because they
to me,
represent
is honor and pride, something that I was allowed to do for my country. Often we look at that and at the time in the 60s when the Vietnam War was going on. I was drafted. I'm sure many of the young men that were drafted thought it to be not a good thing and didn't quite like that. However, as far as I was concerned, I thought it was an honor. I had an opportunity to serve our country in that fashion, as well as my dad and my grandpa. And so to me, it was honor and pride and thankful that I was physically able to do it.
Being a veteran simply means that you served your country, but it goes more deep than that when you talk personally what it means to be a veteran when you've actually become one. It's a rite of passage, if you will. It's something that strangers walk up to you and recognize, as well as your friends. So it's a personal accomplishment that you wear outwardly, even in the most humble of
Consider a veteran someone who has sacrificed their normal life essentially to make others have the possibility of having a more normal. Most of the time it comes down to simple things. You miss having just a casual conversation with a friend or family member. You miss having meals with them, ability to just kind of reach out and touch them.
My family, no doubt about it. And the things that we have here in the United States and in America, when you leave the shores of our country, you realize some of the things that you take for granted that people in the other parts of our world have no clue.
My dad, without a doubt. I was always a daddy's girl, and when I was in boot camp, I'd call him, and you get like one phone call at the end of each week or something. I'd call him, and I couldn't even talk. I'd hear his voice and just cry because I missed him so terribly. So family.
Probably mom's cooking. Your friends, the friends you had in high school, the friends that you had in the neighborhood. Just being home, the security of being home was something that all of a sudden as a young person, you're somewhere else in the world. And you're by yourself with these new friends. Home was always in the background. One of the expressions we had in Vietnam was, we weren't in Vietnam, we were in this place, and we'd like to go back to the world being home.
Coming home, I gained a new appreciation for the simple things and seeing the things we have and the environment that we've grown up with, and being from the Midwest, what we love is what I really missed.
I think maturity comes to mind. I'm a young 19-year-old, and of course at 19 we know everything. When you enter the military, maybe for the first time in your life, you realize you don't know everything. And so I learned discipline. I think maturity arrived during those 2 years I was in the military, having spent a year in a war zone.
Forces you to attain your highest maturity level in a very short amount of time. Everybody has the potential to be more mature, certainly, than they act at 18 years old, but
it definitely made me more disciplined concerning how I do things. Practice and doing things methodically causes you to not make mistakes in the real world, and so I definitely learned that.
The majority of what's changed is my sense of responsibility, personal accountability. I work harder. There are guidelines that the military sets forth that allow you to go above and beyond what you normally would do. They also help you.
I think you grow up. You've been told that all through your life, that it's time to grow up, or it's time to behave or do this or that, and you're a kid and you have your lifestyle, and in my case it was sports and school, and all of a sudden someone else was telling you what to do all the time, and it was difficult to adjust in the beginning, but after a while you realize that little discipline that's being taught to you on a daily basis, that every direction you turn, something to do with just this is the way it's going to be done, you begin to see the value in that and how it builds the team work and the camaraderie.
I think a lot of people recognize that you're in the service even when you're not wearing the uniform, because they see that you stand taller, they see that you're more courteous, more respectful.
I think the hardest part about being in the service and becoming a veteran is being lonely, being away from those that you love, whether you're the kid that's just in boot camp that misses his friends and his family, or you're the 10 or 20 year serviceman that's out on a ship for the 10th time. It's the one thing that every veteran deals with, and that's you're lonely.
Hard work, respect, personal accountability. A lot of the great things that the Army has taught me is the set of moral values, the Army values that they have, which focus on leadership, loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service, and the like. And those are always
enjoy what you're doing right now and live each day for what it's worth. And that worth is 24 hours a day, honoring those who have made it true to the fact that you can do that.